and welcome back. So one of the first questions I'm asked when I talk about home exchange is, how do I keep my stuff safe? And I get it. Our home is our personal sanctuary, and we don't want just anyone, especially anyone we don't know, to have full access to it. So I'm here to tell you that, first of all, with a home exchange, it's completely different than renting your home to a stranger. I'll tell you why in a few minutes. But I also, in this video, will be sharing with you some simple ways to prep your home for an exchange so that you leave with peace of mind, feeling like your castle is safe, even though you have guests that you may not really know staying in it. So before we get into the details, and while I'm thinking of it, I'm new to this YouTube thing. It would mean a whole lot to me if you subscribe below, and if you have a question or a comment, please leave that below too. I'd love to answer your questions and know what's on your mind. But for now, back to the video. So first of all, there are two categories of homes to swap. There are primary residences, which are just like they sound, the primary home that you live in. And then there are secondary homes, which for some people might be a family vacation home. And for others, it might be a place that you also rent out, like on Airbnb. In those cases, your home's probably already set up for guests. So we'll be focusing mostly on when you exchange your primary home or a secondary home that you leave your personal belongings in. So there might be a little bit of prep that's needed before you can exchange it with someone. So let's dive into the tips. First of all, before you even finalize an exchange with someone, you should definitely look at the reviews from their previous exchanges. They'll tell you a whole lot about their level of cleanliness, their communication, and potentially any problems that might have come up in the past. Also, Home Exchange has a verified member feature, which is basically just an extra layer of security. Verified members have basically just sent additional proof of identity or proof of address or residency into Home Exchange. Just one note about verifying: if you verify your home when you list it, you get an extra 200 bonus points just for verifying that, so it's totally worth it. Another tip: it might make you feel better to take inventory of your home, and you can do this really easily with a video walkthrough of each room before you leave. This is also really good for insurance purposes, just if you ever have a wildfire or whatever, that's a different story. You can also ask your guests to send you a video walkthrough after their stay, and this is really nice if you have a second home that you might not be back to anytime soon. It just kind of helps you confirm that there's not garbage rotting or dishes piled up in the sink. Another thought: secure anything personal and anything valuable. And this isn't necessarily because something might happen to them with a home exchanger. It's more because it's just a smart thing to do anytime you leave your home on vacation. Our primary home has 4 bedrooms, but we list it as a 3-bedroom home, and we make a note in the profile that we have a 4th bedroom that serves as an office that we keep locked. So before we leave, we put anything we don't want to leave out or anything valuable, anything personal in the office, and we lock it up. We do the same thing with the closet upstairs. Another good idea is just to let your neighbors know about your home exchange plans. Ask them to keep an eye on your property and make sure they have a way to reach you if they need to. You can also share their contact information, if they're comfortable with it, with your guests in case your guests have any trouble when they arrive that a neighbor might be able to help out with. Another thought: you can always install a security camera like a Ring camera. Just make sure if you do this that you let your guests know if and where any cameras might be. We have a Ring camera on our front door that we've had forever, and we have another one in our garage, really just because my husband's really protective of his garage. It's okay to set boundaries and to let guests know what you do and you don't want them to use. If your great-grandmother's china's on display but off limits, it's all good. If your husband's super protective of his motorcycle collection in the garage, just let your guests know ahead of time or leave a "don't touch" sticky note on him. Secure your digital devices. This is another great tip. Make sure you leave instructions for things like the television, but you should probably log out of any personal accounts. Make sure that any digital devices that are off limits are password protected ahead of time. I can tell you overall, most members on Home Exchange, and definitely any members that I've ever experienced, are really trustworthy people. After all, they're not just coming to your home, they're also inviting you and other people into their home as well. And Home Exchange makes it really clear that they're about the people, not about the money. Their focus is on creating a global community of people who love to travel and who care about other people and care about the planet. So they've totally got your back. Finally, along those lines, Home Exchange offers certain protection guarantees to its members in the unlikely case of damage to your home or your property. They have really great customer service. In short, I get being concerned about inviting strangers into your home. One of the things I love most about Home Exchange is that you communicate directly with the other party. So you get to know a little bit about them before they come to your home. You often know why they're going to your town, what it is they want to see, what they want to do there. And it's a lot of fun to get to know somebody from somewhere else in the world. Also, I'm a big believer in just following your instincts. If anything feels off in those early communications, pay attention to that. If you have to cancel, do it far enough in advance that the other party can find a replacement. Also, it's okay to have direct conversations with your guests about the fact that this is your home and you appreciate them taking care of it as if it was their own. You can have house rules. It's your house. If you think they might invite other people over, let them know that you want to be informed of that, or tell them if it's just not okay at all. I always try and be there when I can to greet our guests when they arrive and to give them a personal tour of the house. It creates another level of connection, and it just makes me feel better about letting a stranger into my home. And it's good to have that face-to-face connection and meet somebody personally before you invite them into your home. But sometimes you can't be there, so you really need to just make sure that you feel comfortable with them ahead of time. You can always line up a phone call or a Zoom meeting ahead of time if that makes you feel better. And keep in mind, this isn't Airbnb. People are far more respectful because they're on Home Exchange. They're also opening their homes to other members. You might be going to their home too, so they get it, and they probably have a lot of the same concerns. We've had some great connections and experiences when staying at Primary Homes. We actually stayed in a beautiful home in Bristol, England last summer, where my husband mowed the lawn for them, and we topped off their swimming pool before we left. They got to be like friends that we don't really know, but they're friends across the pond. So while it may feel a little uneasy having strangers in your home, if you grow to a level of comfort with them, it might end up feeling safer than leaving your home completely empty and obviously vacant while you go on vacation out of the country for 2 weeks. I can tell you in my own personal experience with Home Exchange, I have never had a problem with guests in my home. Twice we've had something break while the guest was there. Once it was a plumbing issue on our end, and our guests actually let the plumber in and oversaw the repair. The other time, the guests accidentally broke a mug and they found a replacement for it. They gave us a heads up and an apology, left a little note with a cute mug and its replacement. No big deal. So if you have any other ideas I might share when it comes to keeping belongings secure during a home exchange, please drop them in the comments below. And the same goes for any questions. I'd be happy to answer anything else you come up with or anything else you'd like to know about home exchange, one of my favorite things to talk about. In the meantime, please hit subscribe. It would mean a whole lot to me, and it would allow you to keep getting these home exchange hacks and inspiration for your own exchange adventures. Ciao for now, my friends.